taking a little stroll through memory lane. How do you feel about putting out the first studio album?
It's dope, man. I mean, I loved it, man. I thought it was a great, piece of music for that time in my life. You know what I'm saying? And it did great, man. We won. You know, that's all you can really say about that, man. We had the first, independent #1 album in 16 years, man. Like, we won. So that's that. But it's dope, man. But as an artist, I'm not gonna dwell on that and dwell on statistics and dwell on numbers. I'm just continuing to build and make more music and grow as an artist and as a person and keep getting better.
After Blue Slide Park, Miller released the mixtape Macadelic on March 23, 2012. The single Loud peaked at number 53 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Macadelic.
You guys are the first people that get to hear this mixtape. It's fucking crazy different than anything I've done. That's what I usually say before I put anything out. I'm always like, this is so different. Wait till you hear this. But yeah, man, it's a different kind of project, man. It's deep. I talk a lot of stuff on here. I say a lot of meaningful things. There's a lot of awesome guest features in here. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's a different style of project. For the first time, I feel like I just kind of stopped thinking about what music I should make and decided to just say what I wanted to say.
Speaking of growing, the project you just put out, Macadelic, it seems like it's a little bit more introspective.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Is that something you want to do on purpose?
Like, if you really go back and do your Mac Miller homework, which few people do, like, that's the shit you hear me doing when I'm 17 and 16. Like, so it's not like that new. It's a little darker. Like, look, man, this is how I look about it. I've always said this from day one, and I probably even said this in an interview with you. Like when you watch my career, if you watch closely, you're gonna see growth. You're gonna see what, like, the mind of you're gonna see genuineness. Like, you're gonna see how I feel when I'm 16, 17 years old, 18. Like, what changes when I'm 19, 20. Like, that's what you're gonna see. So, like, earlier on, right? Like, I'm 16, 17, 18. All my music is just about dreams and goals and that's what it's about. Is about what I want to do and dreams to be a big artist, right? And Best Day Ever comes out, right? And that's about how excited I am, because I'm just like, holy shit, like, I'm making music and I'm making money and I'm touring and, like, this is crazy. Like, that's all it is to me, and I made Blue Slide Park because I miss home, because I'm gone, I'm not used to this, right? But then, like, Macadelic was more of like, like, that's over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm used to everything now. Like, I've been touring for, like, fucking 2 years now, Like, I've been doing this shit for, like, not a long time, but for a little bit. So, like, I got a chance to step back and, like, assess the situation and, like, really, like, deep dive within myself to, like, think about what I wanted to say. That's what I've really have been focusing on, is, like, what do I want to say with my music? Like, it's I love to party, but, like, that's what people think is all me. They're like, oh, he just likes to party, but it's like, what do I want to say? And that's what my dad always tells me. Like, my dad used to just talk all this shit on my music, because he would be like, my music would be being so successful. He would be like, yeah, whatever, but, like, what are you saying? And I'd be like, fuck. Welcome to the Macadelic too.
Check it out.
Top of the morning to you. It's been been so dark outside that I figure I'd turn a couple motherfucking lights on real quick.
Miller spoke openly about his struggle with substance abuse and depression. To manage stress during his Macadelic tour in 2012, Miller began taking promethazine and later became addicted to lean. Miller told Complex in January 2013, "I love lean. It's great. I was not happy, and I was on lean. I was very heavy. I was so messed up all the time, it was bad."
Said I'm just for the kids, man, and I don't suggest this to my young fans. I'm being for real. I don't suggest. Let us do the rapper shit. Y'all stay in school and get good grades. Let us do the rapper shit. Don't do the rapper shit. You ain't a rapper.
My friends couldn't even look at me the same. I was lost.
I'm always like, if someone's like, "You want to try this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then it just kind of fucks you up when you have a bunch of money. Because, like, you try a drug, you like it, and you can buy a lot of it, you know? So I went through about everything. We clear up a couple of things here. There's been a lot of talk about me being on drugs. Look at me. Do I look like I'm on drugs to you? Not on drugs. Drugs are on me. Alright? That was a fucking quote. That was the quote. At one point, weed didn't relax me from everything. It made me more paranoid about all the shit happening, right? So, like, I needed to get a drug that was a little more numbing, if you will, and less, like, in your head. So, yeah, I think that's really what sparked me doing other drugs, is because I hate being sober. I wanted a drug to do.
Nah, this is too much though. This is the pure.
Wait, no.
It's not that
I'm
shit.
saying that's how it carries the whole
You're not listening to me.
No, I know
This is not even the one that you think is it. This is the one that's it. That's really it.
More than active.
Listen to me. I'm your brother. This right here.
I'll taste it. I'll let you know.
You're gonna miss a couple of shows.
No way. No way. This is perfect. It's mine. I'd rather be the corny white rapper than the drugged out mess who can't even get out of his house. Overdosing is just not cool. There's no legendary romance. You don't go down in history because you overdosed. You just die.
He quit taking promethazine in November 2012 before shooting his reality TV show, Mac Miller and the Most Dope Family. In early 2013, Miller founded the record label imprint Remember Music, named after his deceased friend. The label primarily focused on Pittsburgh artists.
Yo, what's up? My name's Mac Miller. Right now I'm about to show you how to really start off a TV show.
Miller starred in a 6-episode reality series, Mac Miller and the Most Dope Family, on MTV2. It followed the production of his upcoming second studio album and premiered on February 26, 2013. Mac was featured on Ariana Grande's lead single, The Way, for her debut album, Yours Truly. The song was Miller's highest peak on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 9. It was certified triple platinum. His second studio album, Watching Movies with the Sound Off, was released on June 18, 2013. It received generally positive reviews, with most critics praising its new psychedelic sound. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, selling 102,000 copies in the first week.
Before I cross the street, if the car about to hit me, then he ought to be. I mean, I think that this album to me is really going out there and it's unexpected, and people don't really know what to expect at all, which is, I guess I just kind of reiterated the same word I just said. It's unexpected, like people don't know what to expect, but you know, so it's a risk, and I think to do important things in music you have to take risks, you have to you know, you have to take risks. So we'll see where it goes, man. I hope everyone, you know, enjoys it. But if not, it's all good because I love it.
The Pittsburgh mayor presented Miller with a key of the city on September 20th, 2013, and declared the date Mac Miller Day. On December 17th, 2013, Miller released the live album Live from Space, containing 9 songs performed with the band The Internet during the Space Migration Tour, and 5 studio recorded tracks that were cut from his second album. Miller parted ways with Rosham Records when his contract expired in January 2014. On May 11th, 2014, Miller independently released his 10th solo mixtape, Faces.
It's the rap Diablo, macho when I drop flows. The bar gets raised up, it's me and Petey Pablo.
In 2014, Miller was taking drugs daily and felt that the final track on Faces, Grand Finale, was supposed to be his last song he made on Earth.
The grand finale was like this idea of like, this is it, you know, and I wanted to make that song because I kept on trying to say goodbye to the studio. In my mind, it is very iconic and it is very like legendary, that room, the red room. If all goes according to the plan and we're all legends at the end of this, that room is like a huge thing. That whole last week was the week of outros. Part of the mentality was like, if I die when I leave this room. Because that was my fear, was like, I won't survive in the world. I will survive in this little room called the sanctuary that I'm okay in, and I hate everywhere else. So I did not leave. It's dark and depressing, like, I mean, it is, like, it's bad, but it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. I'm now in a beautiful place. So I can look back and be like, that was fucking amazing, and I did it, I made it out alive.
Yeah. And if by chance this is my grand finale, then bury me in Allegheny County. It's the most hated, so faded that I'm bow-legged. Don't bathe, gross gang, smell like old old man shit. The flow bar, the most important bar of this whole entire song is the opening bar. If by chance this is my grand finale, then bury me in Allegheny County.
In October 2014, Miller signed a recording contract and distribution deal for Remember Music with the major label Warner Bros. Records. He chose Warner as it was one of the most independent thinking companies he met with.
I think what it was for me was like just time to just take a next step, you know, like and experience what that's like and what it is and what's gonna happen, you know. I think like doing it on an independent level and taking it as far as we did, you know, is amazing. You know, it's like, you're right. It's like, so everyone's like, why even do it? But like, you know, I think it just makes sense, you know, for where I'm at right now and like where I can possibly go. I'm working on the next record. It like, there was a period in time where I like was doing all these things, like I got 4 albums and I'm about to drop, like that was the thing. And like the thing was is taking me, like I've made albums, full albums, and then been like, that's not it. You know what I'm saying? So I think a big thing was me, I had to get myself in a better headspace from, if you listen to Faces, you like, so I got myself in a better headspace and now really trying to focus on what that next statement is and what you know, what I want to say to the world now that I have this platform.
Miller's major label debut, Good AM, was released on September 18th, 2015. The album and the single, Weekend, was certified gold and platinum.
Now, I got a little bit of money filling my pockets. Roll around like I run and shit. I gotta.
In August 2015, Miller was definitely way healthier, but not completely sober. Miller began to work on his next studio album directly after completing Good AM. Wanting to explore the emotion of love, The Divine Feminine was released on September 16th, 2016. The album features Miller singing nearly as much as rapping, incorporates genres such as R&B, jazz, and funk. Mac was in an on and off relationship with Naomi Leisure, who he met in middle school and dated for 7 years until 2016. Miller began to date Ariana Grande in August 2016, but after 2 years, they decided to part ways due to their busy schedules. Miller was arrested on May 2018 on charges of driving under the influence and hit and run after crashing into a utility pole and fleeing the scene with 2 passengers. Police obtained his address from his license plate number, and Miller confessed when police arrived at his home. He was taken into custody and released at $15,000 bail. In August 2018, Miller was charged with 2 counts of driving under the influence. Miller's 5th studio album, Swimming, was released on August 3, 2018. Swimming debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. The single Self Care rose to number 33 on the Billboard Hot 100. Swimming was nominated for the Best Rap Album at the 61st Annual Grammy Awards.
It was
A lot. You know, I went on a journey with it, like any record, and it took a long time for me to even figure out what it was.
because you're asking a lot of questions on it too.
Yeah, and usually I finish a record, and the next week I know exactly what I'm doing next. Right? That's how it usually goes. That's why I've been able to come every year. But this time, it took me a while to figure out like what I wanted to say, what kind of music I wanted to make. And it was just a lot of experimenting. So we finally landed on some type of a path.
A house, apartment, or a business?
It's a house.
Are you calling from?
Yes.
What is the emergency? How can we help you?
Okay.
But are you there with him now? When's the last time you saw him or talked to him?
Yesterday, please.
Okay.
Hurry.
Stay with me on the line, okay? We're already on the way there now. I'm going to give you instructions. Can you wake him up? I'm going to give you instructions. Stay with me on the line, okay? You found him on the bed, on the floor? Okay, listen, so I can help you. The only way we're going to help your friend is if you follow my... Hello, sir?
And breaking news, TMZ is reporting that rapper Mac Miller has died of an apparent overdose.
On September 7, 2018, Miller was found unresponsive in his Studio City home by his personal assistant, who called 911 and performed CPR until paramedics arrived. Miller was pronounced dead at the scene at 11:51 a.m. He had been scheduled for a video shoot on the day of his death and was to embark on his swimming tour in October.
Take a look at this big crowd here, lots of fans here. What's really impressed me tonight is the neighbors. Neighbors loved him. One guy said, you know what, I'm too old. I've never heard his music, but what a great neighbor, what a great kid. In fact, the best kid you'll ever meet.
He was buried at Homewood Cemetery in his hometown of Pittsburgh in a Jewish funeral. Los Angeles police determined that Miller died from an accidental drug overdose due to a mixed drug toxicity of fentanyl, cocaine, and alcohol. Thousands of fans held a visual for Miller on September 11, 2018 at Blue Slide Park, the inspiration behind the debut album title. The site continues to be a place of remembrance. A tribute concert, Mac Miller, A Celebration of Life, took place on October 31, 2018 in Los Angeles. Many of his friends and collaborators performed or provided messages at the concert. Proceeds raised benefited the newly established Mac Miller Circles Fund, which aims to support youth, arts, and community building programs.
A 28-year-old man was arrested on federal charges Wednesday in connection to the death of rapper Mac Miller. Cameron James Pettit was taken into custody on one count of distribution of a controlled substance. He allegedly sold Miller, whose real name is Malcolm James McCormick, counterfeit oxycodone pills containing fentanyl 2 days before the artist died of a drug overdose in September 2018. Pettit could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner determined Miller died with a mix of fentanyl, cocaine, and alcohol in his system. Authorities say while Pettit provided the pills, another individual supplied Miller with other drugs.
After Miller's death, 2 songs were released with features of Mac Miller. Time and That's Life. On January 8th, 2020, Miller's family announced that they will be releasing his first album after his death, called Circles, which was released later that month on January 17th. Miller had been working on this album before his death as a companion album to Swimming. Production was completed by John Brian, who worked on with Miller on both albums. Circles debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. His biggest week for an album, its single Good News became the highest charting song as a lead artist, peaking at number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Okay, come on guys. Let's show you how we do this.
Mac Miller was an inspiration to many. Though his life had some ups and downs, he continued to always have a smile on his face. His music brought joy and happiness to everyone listening. Being a huge fan of Mac, I felt that I had some big shoes to fill when creating these documentaries. I also want to say thank you to all you guys out there who have been supporting me while making these documentaries. Your kindness and support make everything more possible. And lastly, I want to say, rest in peace, Malcolm. Thank you for everything. Most dope forever.
One, two, three, let's get it.